Chào các bạn, tôi tên là Vân Thuần. Welcome to Vietnamese for the Vietnamese diaspora. In today's video, we'll be going over clusters and diphthongs in the initial, medial, and final placement in the Southwest or Miền Tây accent. So what are diphthongs? They're a group or pair of vowels which create a single syllable. So we have some of these in English, like with the vowels AU, OU, and AI. For AU, we have the words hall, applaud, and fault. For OU, mound, round, or could. And for AI, faint, bait, and gain. Now, consonant clusters I went over in my previous video, but they are a combination of multiple consonants without an intervening vowel. So for example, for CL, we have close or clear. For ST, we have store and stare. For BL, blanket or blind. Now the first cluster we have is nya, nya. So when it's placed at the beginning of the word, it's pronounced like the ñ in the word piñata, if you're familiar with Spanish. So this cluster is placed in the initial and final placement of a word. For example, ñan, ño, ñao. Ñan is fast, ño are grapes, ñao is each other. Notice how in the first word, ñan, the NH is placed at the beginning and at the end of the word, and they are both pronounced differently, which leads into the next exception for this cluster. When it's placed at the end of the word, it's pronounced like the N in the word run. So, for example, mun, dan, an. Mun is us or we, dan is to hit, an is English or England. Next is ja, ja. So when it's placed at the beginning of the word, your tongue is placed flat on the top of your mouth, slightly behind your two front teeth. So this cluster is placed in the initial and final position. For example, chán, chính, chùa. Chán is bored, chính is oneself, chùa is temple. Now when it's placed at the end of the word, it's pronounced like the T in the word pat. So it would be silent, but your tongue would still be in the position as if you were to pronounce the T. So for example, chat, cat, fat. Chat is book, cat is method, fat is a traditional Vietnamese instrument. Next is e, pronounced like the two E's in the word feed, feed, e. So this diphthong is pronounced the same way as the Vietnamese letters E and E, or as we call it in English, I and Y. So this diphthong is placed in the medial position. For example, lên, biển, nhiều. Lên is a common first name, biển is beach, nhiều is many. Next is Uy, pronounced like the WI in the word swing, swing, sway, way. This diphthong is placed in the medial and final position. Like in the words Nguy, hiểm, Duy, xe buýt. Nguy, hiểm is dangerous, Duy is a Vietnamese name, xe buýt is bus. Next is O. So the in this diphthong is silent, so you would just read the letter O, just pronounced like the OU in the word could. Could, co, O. This diphthong is placed in the initial and medial position of a word, like dương, ức, bướm. Dương is ocean, ức is to wish, bướm is butterfly. Next is ow, which is pronounced like the OW in the word how, and is placed in the final position of a word. For example, mau, lao, rao. Mau is quickly, lao is read or to wipe, rau are veggies which accompany many Vietnamese dishes. Next is au, pronounced like the OW in the word slow, with a little bit more emphasis on the W. So this diphthong is alone and final. For example, đau, au, câu. Đau is where, au is Europe, câu is sentence. Next is ow, pronounced like the OW in the word how. This diphthong is placed on its own or also in the final position. For example, bao, áo, sao. Bao is dumpling, áo is shirt, sao is how come. Next is o, o. So the O is silent, so you would just read the Vietnamese letter O, which is pronounced like the two O's in the word to. O, to. So this diphthong is placed in the initial and medial position of a word. For example, Muốn, Uống, Muỗng. Muỗng is to want, Uống is to drink, Muỗng is spoon. Next is way, pronounced like the UE in the word suede. Suede, sway, way. So this diphthong is placed in the final position of a word, such as Huế, way, Thuê. Hue is a city in central Vietnam. Way is homeland. Thuê is to rent. Next is we, pronounced like the two Vietnamese letters U and E. So the A, the letter A or the E with a hat is silent. So if you were to pronounce the letter U and E, and then you combine it, you were to make we. So this diphthong is placed in medial and final position. For example, Uyên bác, Truyền thống, Tuyết. Uyên bác is scholarly, Truyền thống, traditional, Tuyết is snow. Next is I, pronounced like the letter Y in the word my, with a little bit more emphasis on the letter Y, and this diphthong is placed in the final position. For example, Y, my, này. Y is to record, my is you, này is this. Next is I, pronounced like the letter I in the word hi. So this diphthong can be on its own or in the final position, like in the words I, my, guy. I is who, my is tomorrow, guy is girl. Next is O, pronounced like the OE in the word shoe. Shoe, then drop the SH. O, or it's pronounced like the letter O with a slight W sound after. O. For example, you, go, rượu. You, to amuse oneself. Go is to wish. Rượu is alcohol. That's all for diphthongs and clusters. Thank you for watching Vietnamese for the Vietnamese diaspora. Cảm ơn và hẹn gặp lại.